Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, April 30th, 2019. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Went to bed late. Went to Taekwondo. Got home. Ate dinner. Cut my hair. Watched a little TV. It's later than I normally go to bed. I'm typically in bed between 9 and 10. Last night was closer to 11. It's alright. It's alright. I am wide awake. I actually slept really well. Your eye crust is right there. Yeah. Yeah. Had a good class. Spent all of it teaching. Locally, there are several tournaments going on this weekend. I'm sure pretty much wherever you are, there's a tournament. Team Whistlekick will be at a tournament in Uxbridge, which is near Worcester, Massachusetts. But then there's a tournament. My Taekwondo instructor's son has a tournament here in Vermont. And so a number of the students are going to that. And so my instructor asked me to work with some of those people on some of their stuff, some of their form stuff, some of their sparring stuff. So that's what I did. Worked with the kids, worked with the adults, had a good time. Man, what's going on today? Meetings, appointments all day. Recording 2 interviews for Martial Arts Radio. And yesterday's episode, which I couldn't remember, was an absolutely fascinating episode that you should check out. What is it, 392 with Grandmaster Quinn? No. There we go. That's how you say his last name. No, it's Vietnamese. So you can find that here or at whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. But just a great guy. Really enjoyed that one. I enjoy all of them, but more than average. But today we've got a high-level judo player, and who's the other guy? I think the other guy might be. Is the other guy British? Maybe. I don't remember. This is why I have a calendar, because I don't remember anything. I remember to look at my calendar, and then the rest kind of flows from there. But, we had 3 questions come in yesterday for today, which sets a record. 3 questions. Woo. And let's see if I can remember them all. All right. So the first question, how do you stay motivated for your training when you work a physically demanding job? Well, I'll be honest. I don't work a physically demanding job, and I never have. So I can't really speak to that from experience, but I can speak to that idea from the days that I am physically tired and want to go train. Or maybe don't want to go train, but feel that I should. I think you have to remember why you're training. If the reason that you're training is for exercise and physical movement, it's going to be hard to stay motivated to go to class. But if you're training because of other reasons, because you want to get better, because you attend class with a bunch of people you really enjoy spending time with, for self-defense purposes, for competitive purposes, all of those reasons, they make how you feel physically kind of irrelevant. And I suspect that if you get good training, if you get good at martial arts while you're tired, you're gonna be really good when you're not. I think that has far more carryover to practical application. Because let's face it, you're going to get tired if you are confronted and it lasts more than about 5 seconds, just the adrenaline. Yeah, just remember your why. I think that's the best thing I can speak to on that. Second question: of all the lessons that you've learned in your martial arts training, which do you use most day to day? Coaching CrossFit isn't physically demanding. It kind of is, but it's 1 day a week, and it's not as demanding as. I mean, if you say a physically demanding job, I imagine someone that works landscaping or maybe on a factory floor, something like that. So, martial arts lessons, of the lessons that I've learned, which do I use most day to day? I feel like somebody asked a version of this question, because I feel like I've given this answer. So I'm going to try to explore it a little bit differently. For me, the thing that I use most day to day is the recognition that I can accomplish anything. And I truly believe that. When I reflect back on my original black belt test and the fact that if you had asked me, can you do this? I explained, I said I felt rested. Maybe I do. I don't. If you had said, hey, here are all the things that are going to happen at your black belt test, will you survive this? I would have said, no, and I don't want to try anymore. But it was this slow, gradual build up into what it ultimately became, and I survived. And I was sore, but I wasn't injured. I did okay. And that's how I tend to look at life. I have more that I'm capable of than I would typically imagine. I can always find a little bit more. Maybe there are consequences. Maybe I'll be sore. But I don't doubt myself. I see a lot of other people who have self-doubt. I've been an entrepreneur pretty much since I got out of college. And I think there are a lot of people who are scared of doing that. And then the third question that came in, how do you think we can get more adults involved in martial arts? Whew. I'm going to take a big sip of coffee for that one. All right. So a while ago, I'm going to say a year ago, Sensei Jared Wilson and I did an episode of Martial Thoughts. I joined him on his show. We may have rebroadcast it on Martial Arts Radio, I don't remember, about getting teenagers into martial arts. But adults are a different demographic. Adults are looking for something different. Now, this is a good question, and I don't know that I'm the best person to answer it, because my why for doing martial arts is really just because I've always done martial arts and I love it. I am not able to put myself into the place of an adult who's never done martial arts. Martial arts is so wrapped into my life, I have no idea what to think or do without it. Just it is such the foundation of my life. Well, let's see if I can talk this out. Adults tend to be pretty routine driven. They tend to have busy lives, and they're looking for something. Anything that an adult is going to add to their life is supposed to make their life better. It's either going to save them money, keep them healthy, something to do with their family, get them out of the house. So here's what's coming to mind as we do that. I am a big fan of specialized classes, especially by ages. And most schools tend to have this. You tend to have, a kid's class that is under 13, 14, 12, and then everybody else is in the adult class. But then when you see programs for 3 and 4 year olds, those tend to do better than the 3 and 4 year olds in the general kids class. Teenagers that have their own class tend to do better than when they're lumped in with the adult class. I would imagine that adults could have similar benefits. What about a class for people who are 40 plus? What about a class for... What about kind of fusing a class with like a parental support group? You know, dads. We're going to train and we're going to spend, you know, this would take the right kind of instructor. This certainly would not be me. But, you know, spend 15 minutes or even 30 minutes, you know, kind of in like group therapy, and then the rest of the time training. Schools that do family classes tend to do well. Oh, okay. So I can bring my kids. The whole family can come and train at the same time. We don't have to worry about coordinating different schedules. I don't have to worry about finding something to do while the kids are training. That, I think, is probably the easiest thing to implement. Some schools run that as an all ages class. But I'm thinking of a couple families in particular that I know through Taekwondo who started together, and it's become the family pursuit. It doesn't mean that they don't do things on their own, but it's something that ties them together as a family, and I think that's pretty cool. When we look at the things that are going to make adults try something, the more boxes it checks, the better, right? Less expensive, more convenient, more beneficial, etc. I know I talk a lot about CrossFit when I come into martial arts conversations. That's because I think CrossFit checks some boxes that a lot of martial arts schools do not. And if we look at the CrossFit model, it's almost entirely adult driven. And primarily, from my experience, adults who have not been passionate about health and fitness. So what have they done? They've taken something that has a strong social component. It tends to be convenient in that there are many, many classes during the day. Your typical CrossFit gym will have, let's say, 2, 3, at least 5, often 8, 10, 12 classes through a day. I don't know too many martial arts schools that do that. And because it is the thing that brings people in is something very tangible, health and fitness, pretty much everybody recognizes I should stay healthy. I should do something for exercise and for movement. And martial arts says that. Martial arts doesn't tend to deliver those sort of results. CrossFit delivers results. So it keeps people coming in. And then people become passionate about it. They tell their friends, they bring their friends in. Martial arts still carries a bit of a stigma, might not be the right word, but we'll say stigma of being something weird. If you do martial arts as an adult, you're a weirdo. Okay, that's fine. I don't think there's any magic bullet there. I don't think there's anything that's going to get everybody involved. But I think we could do more. I think the family classes are probably the easiest thing. having different classes with different focuses, foci, if we want to be proper with Latin. You know, 3 to 4 times a week, here's a class that is more, that it's martial arts, but it's fitness based. Some schools call that like a cardio kickboxing. I think there's more opportunity for a traditional martial arts class that has fitness, but that's a longer conversation. So there's some ideas. And if you're not a school owner, if you don't have any control over the curriculum or class scheduling or anything like that, what's the best thing you can do? Invite a friend. A lot of schools will do, bring a friend day, quite often for kids too, but ask your instructor if you can do an adult one. Hey, here's a free week. Come on in. And you make sure that you drag your friend there, and you make sure you line up next to them. Hopefully they let you do that, and support them. Help them find something that's fun. A lot of adults don't have a pursuit that they're passionate about, a hobby. And martial arts can check that box for a lot of people. They just have to be encouraged. Adults are afraid of trying new things. So, if you want to ask me a question, the best place to do it is below in the comments section on this or any other episode. If you're listening later via podcast feed, send me an email, jeremy@whistlekick.com. Yes, we are available on all the podcast platforms. I even just got a notification yesterday about one that I'd never heard of that we are now on. I don't remember what it is. But we're on Spotify and Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. You'll find it. Or, if it's easier, you can go to firstcupwithjeremy.com because it's there too. Don't forget to turn on subscribe and hit the little notifications bell so you'll get notified at 6:30 a.m. Eastern weekdays, which is when we do this show. But of course, I appreciate everyone who watches live, who watches later. I just appreciate that you let me do this crazy thing called drinking a cup of coffee in a robe on my couch 5 days a week. So I'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm going to go do all my meetings and interviews and all of those things. It's going to be a crazy day. And I hope you have a great day.